the appropriate things come out.
Will come out of you from the universe.
Post-Orthodoxy is live now.
It's true. So we're in a new spot in the house.
Nobody's listening yet. Just you and me.
That's okay, baby.
Just you and me and the censoring algorithm, yes. All the algorithms.
The suppressive.
Is it one algorithm? Is there one master algorithm? Or are there a billion little algorithms going?
Well, if we would watch the social media like everyone and their mother is telling us to do, I think we would find that there is a different algorithm for each person. That's the story that I'm hearing from people, is that there's a different algorithm for each person.
Wow, that's a lot.
You have your own algorithm. But I do kind of like to talk about it like the algorithm, like it's kind of a god we didn't create.
Hey, Robin Lynn already gave us a ha-ha.
Ha-ha! I wonder which funny thing we said she was laughing at.
I don't know. There's such a gap. What
you're
watching
I think
right
like
now.
13 seconds between what we say and when you hear it on Facebook.
Right. What you're watching right now happened long ago.
It's true. I've done some tests before. When
long
you were
before
ranting,
we see it?
I'll like pick up my cup and put it down, and then
just
count
to see
until how long I see it in the video. The nice thing about having it's only about a 3-second delay on twitch.tv/theseviers. The nice thing about having the equipment that we're raising money for right now is that eventually there won't be a delay. It'll be almost immediately live, which will be amazing. She was laughing about the all-seeing algorithm. If you're interested in better quality sound and audio, you can watch this video on twitch.tv/theseviers. And you know the drill, guys. We're plugging our GoFundMe this week.
Yay.
We got banned from KBMF for sharing global data that doesn't match the mainstream U.S. data right now about SARS-CoV-2. I don't know why.
They actually
That's
gave us...
on paper.
No, there's no good reason. They gave us there was no inciting incident.
There's no inciting incident for why we got kicked out of the station.
Right. Exactly.
Well, they said they thought that it was inappropriate that we broadcast one show on KBMF and aired a different show on our Facebook platforms in the studio.
Which made them feel unsafe
for
some reason.
Adversarial is what we were being. I think it's really funny that we're having weekly conversations now on Evno's show on KTUH in Honolulu that are way edgier than the stuff we were airing on KBMF.
We were really pulling back on our show.
We were being really careful because we both love KBMF so much. I mean, heck, Dark helped start the radio station, and it's very dear to my heart. It was one of my homes here in Butte, and so we were always very careful to make sure people knew that the things we were saying on our show were our opinions, and also we just didn't talk about a lot of things out of respect for whoever might be listening in on a community radio station.
Yeah, we're very aware that I know a lot of my personal friends that are completely traumatized and living in panic right now for various reasons, be it political or pandemic or financial or relationship, whatever. There's a lot of people
living a lot of panic right now.
In a lot of panic. And we've always liked to take that into account when we're talking about delicate subjects.
And sometimes we do get up on our about things.
Have feelings?
We have feelings. We're people.
Yeah, we don't claim to be an objective news organization. We are a meta-news edutainment program.
Those are some good words.
Probably the best thing that we could say.
So I titled this video today, DAAMAS and Debate Day.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what DAAMAS is? You don't, because we made it up.
Oh, right.
DAAMAS stands for Dark and Ainsley Mutual Appreciation Society, which is a long-standing society in this relationship.
It's what we've been accused of doing. We've been accused of mutually appreciating each other too much.
Too much on the radio.
On the radio.
Yes. But and to that, I guess I just say I'm sorry that you're not having as good a time with your spouse as I am.
Burn.
I mean, who gets mad at people for liking each other? People who aren't having a good time.
People who aren't having a good time.
And so I'm sincerely sorry for people who are mad at us for having a good time on the radio. They actually call it the mutual masturbation.
That's what
mutually masturbating. A friend of ours said. Which is a bit of a different tone than the Mutual Appreciation Society. We
prefer Mutual Appreciation
Society. We started the Mutual Appreciation Society.
Yeah.
Early on, there was talk about doing like Boy Scout style badges and patches.
All right. So we've gone from topic of the show to personal.
Well, that's one of the
Oh,
topics
the
of the
topics.
show, yeah.
Yes. So
We're talking about like self-care, ways of preserving personal boundaries. Are you insisting upon something for you and your partner or partners, or just you in these trying times? Or do you just go day to day to day surviving and doing the next right thing and never actually put something down into the well of yourself that you can pull up later when you're not having a good time?
So both of us are independent contractors, so we're always doing odd jobs.
We don't have a normal weekend.
There's no weekend.
Mm-mm.
We are always doing things all the time. And without a schedule. So we're picking up side gigs, and then there's our sort of unscheduled regular work that we do. In addition to this show, in addition to prep for this show, it's really easy to lose yourself in a stream of days. So we decided early on, in order to not get so disconnected and kill each other, that we actually take a day off. Like the old concept.
Have to choose to take a day off.
The concept of a Sunday.
Yeah.
In the Judeo-Christian realm, which is the day of rest, and we've taken to doing that, taking one day off a week where we don't have an agenda, and whatever project is not done will continue to not be done until tomorrow.
Right, and we don't spend time with friends. We try to not plan doctor's appointments. It's funny how often actually people are like, "Are you free on Tuesday?" And I'm like, "That's literally the one day of the week
I am not free.
that I am not free."
Right.
It's like
Because I'm being free.
Because I'm choosing to be
and
free
not doing those
with my
things.
partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we happily invite you guys to invent your own Appreciation Society Day or
Right.
Mutual Appreciation Society Day.
Either or. Both.
And insist upon some time for yourself or for yourself and your partner. Like, we clean the house on Monday so that we're only doing the bare bones housework on Tuesday. We don't wake up and clean the house Tuesday morning in preparation for relaxing on Tuesday. It's a hard thing to do. A lot of people do work 9 to 5s, and the weekend is the only time that they have to clean the house and do laundry.
Right. We don't have a regular, so this is like our Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah.
The idea of, I've become so aware of people's ongoing chronic traumas in our current zeitgeist, in our current political climate, and I'm an empathetic person, so I'm feeling everybody else's stress, and I think the only way that I don't take it on is to actually have a one day off where I'm not doing politics so
not
much.
Involved in other people's lives as much.
I'm not getting drawn into Facebook debates.
So we're technically not doing that right now.
Technically not.
Technically, because we're interacting with you guys.
Right.
We're reinventing our lifestyle because we were kicked out of the radio station. We were already planning on starting to live stream from home because we want to be able to include global interviews in these live streams. So you'd have our camera on the screen and somebody else's camera on the screen, and you could ask them questions. We want to facilitate dialogues across the planet.
We have a lot of experts.
Yeah, that we want to...
In the queue.
In the queue,
yeah.
Yes, for season 2.
Yeah.
And part of preparing for season 2 is running a GoFundMe to raise the money to get microphones, capture card, camera, a new used computer that can actually run a live stream without breaking down.
Right.
And if we have a little extra left over, it's going to go towards a website that we're already building, which is our outpost in the Borderlands.
Right.
We both came from extreme groups, and were ostracized from those groups when we started to change our minds about things, or left the groups and then they ostracized us for leaving. And there are a lot of people on the planet who have left extreme groups or who have never had a group. And we're all trying to find ways to connect and get to know each other. It's sort of like the modern version of starting a church, I guess. We're not trying to start a church. An outpost is like a trading post. You're traveling through the wilderness, you're exploring the wild frontier, and you run out of beef jerky, and you come across this trading post in the woods or on the plains, and look, they've got bear traps and beef jerky and some rope and some sugar and some coffee, and maybe a book where other travelers have written down which paths to take moving forward and which paths not to take. That's what we're trying to provide, where we can all share information and pathways with each other as we all explore the realms beyond strongly held belief systems.
Yeah. I also like to think of it as like a soapbox, and which I've run open mics and community events for over 30 years, and I think the importance of having a regular place where people can show up to hear themselves and to hear other people in their community. That community could be local, that community could be work, that community could be philosophical. But I like the idea of creating a place that happens on a regular habit so that people know they can show up and have their voice heard.
Have a conversation.
And hear other voices that are not being filtered by special interests, which brings us back to being censored and banned from KBMF. Part of the reason I helped start that radio station and was such an avid supporter of the radio station was because I think it's important for communities to see themselves and hear themselves and to be heard by their community, an avenue to be heard. KBMF is a giant soapbox. And most people play, hey, this is my awesome mixtape for 2 hours, and they show you all their favorite music.
And it's not the same music as every other station, which is really nice.
Right. I think it's also important to be able to hear people and their opinions. We have a number of opinionated DJs who like to talk about politics online in between their songs, and I think
on their radio shows.
It's important to have those voices represented. When we were censored and gagged, basically we were told we can't do what we do as the premise of our show, which is questioning strongly held beliefs, orthodoxies, fundamentalisms.
Learning how to not get stuck in a mental rut.
That was something we could have dealt with. The thing that was the worst was when they said, we can't tell you, our audience, that our content has been limited.
On KBMF.
Which is disconcerting to me, because as a listener, if I'm listening to somebody for what they do and they have to change what they do and they don't get to tell me about that, that's a bit of a lie through omission.
It's a lie.
It is a lie through omission.
That's what's happening in our mainstream media all the time anyway. We already have a lot of media sources available to us that have been limited in their content by their donors, by the people who put commercials on those stations, and by the political interests of those various news sources. And stations like KBMF are supposed to be a place where you're hearing real opinions from real members of the community that have not been limited by donors or by popularity contests.
That too. So we're doing this fundraiser in order to have a place where, as we've been saying in the last few weeks, when we do our show and we're talking about a subject and we've done research on the subject, we share our sources in the Facebook message feed on the live video so that people can help us vet the sources that we're going through to find information to share with you. And then we're also looking for your sources that can help us get a grip on whatever the topic of the day is. A big topic, part of the reason that we are no longer with the station, is the topic of our ongoing rolling pandemic. We asked the question, when do we know that it's over?
Do you have a way that you will know when it's over or when it's safe? How will you know? Who are you looking to tell you that it's over? What signs in your environment are you looking to tell you that it's over?
What data points need to arrive for you to say,
the pandemic is over?
We haven't heard that yet. And that's a question that we keep asking. So we're also looking for that answer. So if you have the answer of when we can know that the pandemic is over, please share it in the comments section, text it, send it.
Traditionally, the World Health Organization would call for the end of a pandemic officially. They would say, we are now saying this pandemic is over, when deaths descend below back to the normal death count, which is happening already. It's already happening. Traditionally, the World Health Organization, who is responsible for calling a pandemic, they say, oh, it's a pandemic now. And it's their job to say, and now it's not a pandemic anymore. And traditionally, that would be called, and has been called in the past, when deaths from the new disease have dropped down to normal death levels.
Right.
Globally.
Right.
Now, there are still spikes as
we're still in the U.S. slightly going up.
Yeah.
We're leveled out, but we still have a slight increase, and some people say it's because of the lockdowns.
Yeah.
the idea of flattening the curve is that you're not reducing the number of deaths.
We're spreading them out over
You're
time.
spreading them out so we don't get overwhelmed. We did that.
Yeah.
In a lot of the places. New York is an exception.
Mhm.
A few places are exceptions, but generally we spread it out. People are still going to get the virus. A very, very few people are going to get sick from the virus, and a very, 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 very few are going to die or have long-term problems from the virus.
And that's unfortunate.
That's going to continue.
Yeah.
But it won't be pandemic level.
Right. This is not a zombie apocalypse. Like,
Right.
by the numbers, it's not a zombie apocalypse. It's not MERS. It's not acting like the Spanish flu. It's not SARS. It's not acting like H1N1. It's not behaving like any of those things anymore. It's a super spreader, but it's not super dangerous.
Well,
By the numbers.
By the numbers.
By the numbers. Percentage-wise.
It's not affecting people in age groups that are outside the normal threat level for
Illness.
an illness such as influenza.
That's another thing is traditionally the World Health Organization doesn't call a pandemic when people who are already sick and elderly are the most affected. Usually you call a pandemic, traditionally, the World Health Organization will call a pandemic when disproportionate numbers of the young and the healthy die. That's when you call a pandemic.
I was going to answer that call. I don't know who it was.
Butte, Montana. Yeah, we don't know.
It's probably somebody talking about my car warranty.
Your warranty's expired. This is your last chance. There's also